Sneak dissing, we don't see the competition. I drop off a ransom note that your art is missing, nigga.
Pay us in full with the money, or she gon' get her fingers clipped off like Lil Sonny,
MRecktv.
Yo, we always gonna be best friends, man. You hear something?
Have you guys heard of StreamBoss? It's a new IPTV provider that gives you over 5,000 channels for only $20 a month. Cool! $20 for live TV, local TV, movies, TV shows, pay-per-views, and so much more.
Huh? What?
If you have a Fire Stick, smart TV, or streaming device, then head on over to thestreamboss.com to begin your setup process.
Once again, ladies and gents, welcome to the Unsung Hero Show with myself, DJ Moeskieno, aka the Sugar Cut King, my main man, DJ Superior. Y'all know what it is, MRecktv, live and direct, DJ Shok. Welcome, man, welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you for tuning in and fucking with us.
Yes,
well, what's
sir.
going on? How was y'all week and all that, man?
It's good, man. It's crazy. This week is always crazy. Prepping Thanksgiving, running around, and like family, and what are we gonna do? And then the group text of like food and everything. It's always crazy, but it's one of my favorite holidays because it's not that commercialized. It's just like getting together as a family, eating, just chilling without like a lot of like pressure, like Christmas and everything.
Are you actually cooking this year?
Yeah, man, I'm doing my famous mac and cheese.
Oh,
so it's like, I got this recipe like years ago from a friend of mine who used to live down south, and he got it from like, I think it wasn't even his grandmother, but she always won when they would have those like cookout contest thing.
Right.
And like he got the recipe. So I'll give away, for everybody here, the secret ingredient, which is you're gonna think is weird, is Campbell's cream of chicken soup.
Okay,
that's the secret. You put
he's
that in with
unsung
everything
cook.
else, and trust me, like do the regular mac and cheese you do, and just put like a can of that in there, and mix it in with everything, and I don't know, it's like magic.
Oh, you got the cheat code.
That is the cheat code. That's the cheat code.
And what about you, Sue, man? I know you get busy in the kitchen too, bro.
A little something. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man, you went to school, didn't you, for cooking?
Yeah, cooking school. I ain't giving no secrets though.
See, that's old school. That's old school. DJ Superior. You keep the white labels on the records. It's not like that's the school of not like today where you figure out how to make a beat or something or how to get something going. You make a YouTube. You teach everybody. Back in the days, if you figured something out, quiet is kept. You don't say nothing.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Mo, with Al, about the white label. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
That's what he talking about.
You couldn't even go, it was like disrespectful if you even went up to the DJ to ask, like, what is that? Because you might just get a weird look. Like, come on. Like, no one's telling you, really.
No, you
have
right.
to figure that out.
I feel like that sometimes today. Like, I'll switch up some of the names in my Serato just for that.
Oh, just so when they come and look.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
They'll stand right next to you looking like this.
But it gotta not be on Shazam though. Because if it's on Shazam, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff isn't on Shazam, so.
No doubt. But then, so for one, we already know you produce some crazy hits, man. But you got to take us to a time frame where you was actually first introduced to hip hop. What made you you get that first feeling like, yo, this is something new, this is something different. I want to tap in with this.
All right, I just want to say one thing before I do that.
Okay.
There was an imposter in the flyers, and it was a different guy. So I want everyone to know that that's not me. That was on the flyers. So it was pretty funny because it's the unsung heroes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like an unsung hero in hip hop, in my opinion. So I fit perfectly in here. And then on top of that, the picture to promote the Unsung Hero episode wasn't even me. So that made me even more stealth.
Wow.
So it was like, so it was pretty funny, yeah. But anyway, I know that, things happen. But back to the question. Yeah, that guy. I mean, we gotta apologize to that guy too, because that guy right there, he's probably people going up to him like, why didn't you tell me you're DJ Shok and you produced these records? Right. His own family's probably coming up to him like, yo, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you tell us? But anyway, I thought that was funny, man.
Yeah.
Look at
you see his when you look at it, it's more funny, right? Like when you look at it and then you look at me, like, damn, that is funny.
Oh man.
So like, what made me love and want to do hip hop? I'm really like an '80s hip hop head. Like what made me love hip hop is '80s. So when I was really little, like I would say like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. I got my first set when I was 10. And I used to buy my records from Getty Square Music Band. And I used to listen to and record like religiously. I used to go to there was like a little Chinese store in the square that sold blank tapes.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go there, get every Friday, like my mom would give me like a little allowance. And I would go to the square with my allowance after school. And I would get the blank tapes. Because I needed to record on Friday night, Chuck Chill Out. Saturday night, I had to get Red Alert. And then I would stay up late and listen to 105.9, which was like Teddy Ted, The Awesome 2, and DJ Hank Low. And it would change too sometimes. And then even on Saturdays, once in a while, the Latin Rascals would come on like once in a blue. And that would be like a real special episode of like, we could hear editing and they would use reel to reels and do like, stuff that was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, how are they even doing that? So I was like really excited about it. And I had a friend of mine that when I would go to school, we both would tape everything. Mm-hmm. And like, his name was Doobie. And I would be like, we went to the same school. So like Monday morning, we would talk about like new records. So like, I remember we'd be like, yo, you heard that joint with the Inspector Gadget? Yeah. Like, yeah, that's crazy. Yo, you heard that? Red played it. Or if someone missed it. And we would talk about like I remember one time, the first time I heard Ice-T, 6 a.m, police at my door, fresh Adidas squeak across my bathroom floor. The first time I heard that was the same time that Larry Davis was like in all the papers in New York.
Yeah.
I remember me and Doobie were like arguing because he swore, he was like, that's Larry Davis. Because when nobody ever heard of Ice-T, it was like brand new. And it was played like on 105.9, so it was crazy early. Like no one had heard this record. Because they would play stuff like before even Red would play it or Chuck Chill Out. They would usually like have a copy of stuff like stupid early, especially. That was West Coast too. So we were late on West Coast stuff at that time. It wasn't like we were early on anything West Coast. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, we were arguing. We were like, I was like, that's not Larry Davis. He's like, I'm telling you, listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying. That's Larry Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when, that. And then at the same time, my older brother, I was the youngest one by like a good amount of years. So like they were like, when I was that age, they were already like into their late teens. Mm-hmm. And they would go to like Roxy, Funhouse. And they were like really into like electronic hip hop and hip hop at the same time. Cause it was evolving. Like the first hip hop was like, that I was really, really crazy about was like, like Planet Rock, like the electro stuff with like Arthur Baker, John Roby, that kind of stuff. And then it started to evolve like when you got into like Art of Noise beatbox. And then when Run DMC came out with like Sucker MCs, it changed the whole landscape. Because now you had these drum machines that had these heavy drums. And that's when I really went and fell in love with hip hop even more. Because then it became like, because before that, it was like a blend of a lot of things. Like you could listen to like AIOU, IOU, because it was like the same producers as like some of the electronic, like electro, hip hop, bebop type stuff.
Right.
And But then at that time, it really, like, when, to me, that record particularly, like, there's, like, Planet Rock is one record that separates, you have, like, this 70s stuff, which is, like, the first time I heard hip-hop. My aunt was playing Funky 4 plus One More. She had the red label Enjoy. And I was a little kid, and I was mad young. I was probably, like, 5. But I was always listening to music, and I played the drums and everything, even at that age. And I never forget. I wanted to.
What made you want to be a DJ though?
Be a Red Alert.
Red Alert.
Red Alert. Red Alert. Red Alert made me want to be a DJ because, like, it blew my mind. The thing that blew my mind the most was like, well, no, actually, that's not even true. That's not even true. It wasn't. Red made me want to like buy records and really get into it, heavy, and want to buy doubles and like go back to back and stuff. But the person who actually made me want to be a DJ was the guy that DJ'd my sister's Sweet 16 party. I was in the first grade, and he is actually someone who's like a part of early hip hop. His name is Aldo Marin, and he produced, you know, that record It's Time.
Oh yeah.
Al Nafish. He produced that.
Wow.
That's his label, Cutting Records. So he was DJing my sister's Sweet 16, and like he was like having fun with me because I was like, I will not leave him alone. And I remember like he would play like just stuff to freak me out, like the Wicked Witch of the West, like from the Wizard of Oz, like Going So Soon, My Little Party is Just Beginning, and I would like run away, and I was like, I would not leave him alone. And it's funny too because he ended up being one of my mentors in music. Like basically he's a big mentor of mine because I would go to his record store on Dykeman and I would like bring my tapes that I DJ'd and mixed and get his critique because he had a record company, he had a record store, and he was like the closest person I knew that was actually in the business.
Right.
So he mentored me like I would go and then he would be like, no, you need to get, like I had these whack turntables where like my first set would.
You had some Geminis?
I had the worst. No, check out what I had. You won't even find this online. I was 10 years old. My sister got it used from somebody for like $50, the whole set. It was a Spear Sonic mixer. You ever heard of that?
Nah.
It was like the worst mixer on earth. So it was a Spear Sonic, and then I had two. It was Techniques, like I think they were the B202. One was a B202, and I think the other one was a B203, if I'm not mistaken. And they were belt drive, and the belts on both of them were worn out.
Man, I had audio. Mom's trash.
So I had to push. You know what I mean? Like to get it. If I pushed it and played with it enough, the belt would start to just work right. And so that's how I first started. So that, you know, using like that equipment. And then eventually, like Aldo told me, he was like, yo, you need to get 1200s. When I got a little, like when I was like 13. And then so what I started to do was like I worked and I did stuff, and I bought like I got one 1200, and then I convinced my family to pool in with me on Christmas and like get me the second one. And then so I had the two 12s by the time I was like 14, I would say. And that was like a big deal because that was it. The 12s is everything.
That's how I felt too, the same way.
Yeah.
I was trying to mimic every sound.
Yeah.
So check this out. Now we know that we got that part. Because you know it's not too long of a show. We got to address all of this stuff. So as a DJ, you did that. Now, what made you want to get into producing?
Yeah, that's my cousin's fault. My cousin Mike. One day I was visiting him. He was in Co-op City, and then like he had an EPS 16 in Sonic. I was about 16, and he was making beats, and I never seen that in my life. And it was weird to me because I never thought about making a beat. I was just so excited to play records and try to make people dance, and it was weird because I was like, damn, that's how they make these records. And then I started to put it together in my head. I was like, that makes sense because I got the break beat because my brother, when I first started DJing, he went to He went to a record store. I think he went to maybe Music Factory because I think I remember the stickers on the records he got me. And he got me like the perfect starter kit for hip hop DJ. He got me doubles of Jimmy Castor's Just Begun. He got me doubles of like other Ultimate Breakbeats.
Okay.
So he got me like maybe 5 of those. And like that right there was making sense in my head while my cousin was making the music. I was like, damn, so yeah, because that makes sense. And I would think about like, you know, like Eric B's record, and I'd be like, damn, that's the drums from, you know, Impeach, and that's like,
right.
So and then I would be like, damn, so that's how they do it. And then I had this thought in my head, imagine, I was like, I can make the record that someone would put on the turntable and play.
Right.
And that just blew my head open. It was like, damn, that's crazy. And ever since then, not until I was 18 was I able to like manage to get like my first pieces of equipment. But I was on a mission. Like my DJing was to try and save money and do things to get the equipment.
Okay.
To produce.
So now we talking about the equipment aspect of it. So what was your weapon of choice? Because I listened to one interview with Pete Rock, right? So Pete Rock said it took him about 5 different beat machines for him to finally become Pete Rock. So for you, what was your
I bought the most stupidest thing in the world. It's called a Roland DJ 70.
Okay.
And it was trash. It was the garbagest thing. And then my friend Alex came over, and he knew a little bit more about equipment because he was working in a studio already in Marble Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, put that in the box. We're bringing that back right now.
Right.
So we brought it back, and I got a ride from somebody else, brought it back, and then I traded it, and I got a Kai S950,
okay,
a Roland MC50, and I'm not sure if that day I was able to get a little 8-track Tascam board, or if I got it later. But overall, that was my first setup was an 8-track Tascam board, a Kai S950, Roland MC50 sequencer, and then I upped it a little bit later, and I ended up getting like a Korg, I think it was like an X5, like it's a half rack.
Okay.
And it had a lot of percussion and some, like a few sounds on it, but it wasn't like intense, you know, it didn't have like a lot of stuff. It wasn't crazy.
Right.
But it was like, it was pretty dope, you know, like to add that because now I had a little bit more to play with, do my stuff on the 950, do some percussion on there, and I started to expand the sound a little bit once I did that.
Okay. Yo, so now, as far as industry-wise, we're going to get to that point, but what's some of, like Al Pizzaro, we had him on here. He showed us some of his hardware. We see you got some hardware in the background too. So what's one of the first joints that you did that you produced that, you know, it's a feeling that when you produce something, I always hear from producers all the time, they make beats all the time, but when it's that one beat that connects with everybody and they start hearing it everywhere, how did you feel and which beat was that?
There's two. The first one, there's 2 big memorable moments like that for me. The first one was High Tech 24/7, which I did in the basement using that equipment I just talked about. And the reason that was so big to me is because we did that independently. We pressed it. We had distribution through cutting. And all we did was put copies of those records in Hot 97 mailboxes for all the DJs. And I'm not kidding you. Remember, Red Alert's my idol. So I'm driving down Central Avenue in Yonkers in my little green Jeep, and all of a sudden, he laughed. You remember that little green Jeep probably, right, Superior?
Yeah.
Yeah, my little tracker. And so I'm like driving, and I'm listening to the 5 o'clock ride with Red Alert on Hot 97, and all of a sudden he plays my record. And he played it hard for like months. And, you know, and then Ladies Night caught on. Flex played it a little bit. It got into like, you know, Future Flavors played it, and like it went, you know, the Bay Area. We did some, you know, we did good. We did like 10,000 units. And that particular record, because of the way that happened with Red Alert, it was like, wow, this is crazy. Imagine I'm a little kid going to the Chinese store, buying this cassette. Then I'm going and recording this guy, and he's blowing my mind by what the way he's mixing and stuff.
Right.
And then he plays my record. That's it. Then the next one is, you feel me, right, Superior? That's like, so
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a dream.
That's the legend, the guy you actually looked up to playing your record, something you create. You like, what the, you know what I mean?
It was huge. It was, and the coolest thing.
How old were you then?
I was probably, it was 96, so 74, 84, 94, 22.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was 22, and then the next big moment was because, and I mean, this was almost a given, it's going to be Slippin'. And the reason it was Slippin' was because, I mean, there's a plethora of reasons. Mm-hmm. You know, the feeling of when we made it in the studio, like the powerfulness of that moment. Was incredible. The story of how I made it, you know, the trip there, everything, and then the giganticness of it, like to the point where I'm in my apartment on North Broadway, I'm watching like BET, it's all on BET, like #1, you know, on the countdown, and then I put on MTV, and it's #1 on TRL. Damn. And then I turn it off, and the guy upstairs from me is knocking it. The guy that lived upstairs from me is knocking it. I'm like, oh my God. Then I go to this is a true story. Then I go to my car. You know, when the record's hot, it's hot.
Right.
I go to my car and I put on Z100. Z100.
Damn.
And they're playing it. And that was like, you didn't hear X that much on Z100 at that time, you know, like,
right.
It was crazy.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Yo, Reck, you know what was crazy? Like, now, if he's saying it's crazy for him, how do you think I felt? You know, yo, Reck, we did that joint. We did that off Biggie Smalls beat, Juicy. Long time ago, we did Slippin', because Slippin' was done with Shok. When it came out, Shok, it was the second album, so that came out when?
It was 98, but it was like the end of 98, like the last week of 98. So you could almost say 99 because it was the last week of 98.
Okay, 99, yes. So imagine we did that in 1990, right? Yeah. So just to hear that, like we could never find a beat for it, so we always used Juicy. So every time we performed it, we used Juicy back then. So remember, for the people that don't know, Shok got the first single off the second album, which sold the whole album. We didn't even have to do another video. Slippin' sold the whole album. Now you would think a second album, like, okay, where's the first album was killing it? Second album, where's the videos? Slippin'. It was Slippin' in one other video that sold that album.
Yeah, I think they did the one with Drag.
Yeah, same year, right? Yeah. Same year, 2 albums. That was crazy, man. I didn't know what to think about.
Now,
even to go in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, my bad. I didn't hear you.
Well, let's do this because, you know, we all are artists in some kind of way, whether DJ, I'm an MC. So like, what was that feeling like? You understand what I'm saying? We need to, you know, give us that visual of when you first heard it. Like, what did it do to your mental state, your body? Like, cause years, and then a record of that magnitude. Like, give us that visual.
It feels weird. It feels like crazy. It's like it just doesn't make sense. Like it feels like it's a lot of feelings at once, to tell you the truth. It's like a plethora of different emotions at the same time, like disbelief a little bit, like damn, like how, you know what I mean? It's a little disbelief. It's like a little bit of like, of course, excitement, and like also validation, because like, for example, a lot of people spoke against me doing the deal I did with Rough Ryders. I left a job at the city where I was making, you know, I mean, at that time it was a good living for like a 20-something-year-old kid. I was making like 60-something thousand a year. So it was like, I actually, all the people I work with, because I was there for 5 years, and I had the studio, and I worked there at the same time. Like I would do 8 hours there and like 8 hours at the studio. I did that for years, and basically they were all like, "You crazy? You're gonna sign with this company?" I only got $2,500 from them to sign, and everybody was like, "You're crazy! Like, what are you doing? You're leaving this good job, and you're just gonna jump in." And I was like, at that point in my life, I had been doing music my whole life, and I had this sense of like that they were about to go on this run, and I just instinctually, you know, I just was like, this doesn't happen all the time. It's probably never gonna happen again. And I felt like it wasn't like, I don't feel like it was irresponsible, because I was very knowledgeable about the business and the game, and I studied it since I was a little kid. And I felt like it wasn't like a gamble, because I was like, if it didn't work, I wouldn't have even beat myself up, because it made complete sense that it would. And the thing about, to connect that to slipping, is I signed. It took a few months to like do the contract, and I signed. And then that very next week, I went out to work on slipping. And as soon as I got off the plane, I went straight to the studio and did slipping. Like that same night, I didn't even go back to where I was staying. That very night, I had my suitcase, went to the studio, and just to solidify what Superior said, because I don't know if you know this, but how he had the lyrics, they had been apparently for 9 years looking for the right beat.
Yeah.
Because when he heard that beat, he was like, he mouthed a little bit of it, and then he just looked at me and he was like, lay that. And when I laid it, and he did everything in one take, which means he knew that like it was that those lyrics were like a part of him already. Like it wasn't like something he just did. He did it, and when he did it, like you could feel it in the session. Like his uncle came in, like people like feeling the like
The vibe.
the power, the vibe, the like wow, this is like something special, you know. And you know, so yeah, the feeling was great, you know. It was you know, some people say it's luck. Somebody commented once on his post, and they were like, you just got lucky. But when you know me and you know my story, it's like I released before even, you know, my first releases in '94 on Sony Continuum, my first record, which is with Kool Keith, Melly Mel, Godfather Don, and Raw Breed. So like I've been doing this like before that. And they're like, yo, it's luck. But it's not really luck, because it's part luck. I'm not going to say it's no luck. It's part everything. It's part luck, part in the right place at the right time, part taking the right risk, part also being prepared, having the music ready when the moment came. I mean, because I could have come off that plane unprepared and been like, yo, I need a beat machine. I came off that plane with a DAT with like 40 joints selected specifically for this trip. Not, you know, I had way more than that, but this was like 40 aimed at X.
Gotcha. I want to say this though. Producing a record like that, I know it puts you in a different space, like kind of like right away, because it was so big. Name some of the people that reached out to you, I guess, for beats and production, or I know maybe other deals came about, but you was already signed to Rough Ryders, correct?
Yeah. So this is where it's going to get a little controversial, because if I'm going to tell the true story here today, the truth is not that many people reached out to me, hardly any. I'm not going to say that they didn't, but I didn't know about it. At least maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I can't give you a true answer, but all the other outside placements I got, and even the inside ones, took mad hustle, mad work. You know, I got with Pun completely separately, Busta separately, like not necessarily, you know, there was one time I hung out with Bust and Swizz, but I had already been putting the work in with his road manager, and we had already been down to his studio. So it wasn't like a thing where like I did this record and people just started calling me. It was more of a thing where if I wanted to try and open the door now, it would open. Because I would be like, I'll be like, yo, I want to play beats for so-and-so. And they'd be like, I'm like that. I'm, you know, Shok from Ruff Ryders. I did Slippin' for X. They're like, oh shit, okay, come through. So it wasn't like they were running for me, especially because people only run after, in my opinion, not unsung heroes. They run after people who are in the spotlight, who are being projected as these big guys in production, or then the people run after them because they have this like brand, and then they'll be like, yo, I need a joint from so and so, you know, because a lot of, even in my company where I was with Ruff Ryders, there were records I did that people thought someone else did. They thought Swizz did some of those records just because
Which record?
of the, like, specifically Spit These Bars is probably the main one that people thought he did. And that was, you know, he's on the hook.
Yeah,
and,
fact.
So he's in the video heavy. So it's not like a far-fetched thing to be like, oh, he did it, you know? So, but it's not like in the company they would go out of their way to be like, no, hold up, that's Shok. You know what I mean? Kind of like if you see, I have a video on my timeline, which I love because Drag On is doing an interview. I think it's with Vlad. And he's talking about Spit These Bars. Yo, that beat was crazy. And he's like, who did that? Swizz? And Drag is like, no, that's Shok. That's Shok. And it was dope because it's like me and Drag made that. You know what I'm saying? It's like that was a dope moment. I remember him writing in the room. I remember he was on some like vibe where he was trying to do kind of, in my opinion, like kind of a Biggie kind of vibe. The way as I heard him do it, and I was like, oh, this is dope because Drag was doing different stuff on other records at that time, and when he spit that type of flow on there, it was like kind of dope because he was, you know, he was like dun, 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 and it wasn't the dun, you know, kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? It was a little different, so it was kind of dope. And you know, it's unfortunate, but it's par for the course. You know, it is what it is. You know, that's how it works.
I want to say this though. How many units did that record eventually sell? Like, wind up selling?
What, Spit These Bars?
No, Slippin'.
Slippin' sold the album to about 4 million copies.
Yeah, and the single went platinum.
And single was platinum?
Yeah, the single was platinum, but the album did 4, and that was without. Like I said, the second video that was done, it was a hype single, but it didn't carry the album. Slippin' carried the album.
Got you. Now, Shok, at this time, so you didn't have a publicist?
No. I kind of tried to do that. See, it was a very weird situation because by nature, I don't necessarily like the spotlight. And so I'm not like someone who's going to like chase it exactly. Because I love being in my love, as you can see, you know, like, I don't know if you can see, but like in the corner, or like on the other side, that's me playing the drums by the speaker when I'm a little kid. I've always just loved music. Like I'm 47 and I'm as excited right now about ideas in my head for these beats I've been doing lately,
right,
as I was when I was 16 in my cousin's room.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I'm super appreciative of that because I know that some people go their whole life just trying to find one thing that they like, you know, and that makes them feel excited like that. So like, there's been times in my life when I hated it because of the business, but as I matured and I learned to take things more in stride and be like more on a Zen vibe where I don't get mad about stuff and I go with the wave instead of try to go against the wave. Right. And as I grew, now I embrace that more, and I see it as like a beautiful thing to just be so excited. So like, because I'm like that, it's easy to take advantage of somebody who would rather be in the studio anyway, and other people who would rather be out parading, showing themselves and putting their arm around people and, you know, doing that whole thing. Like me, I'm in heaven. You put me in the studio, I'm like, I just need to sleep, eat, take breaks to get my mind back again, like go away somewhere. And then you put me back, and then I'm like, yes, I'm back. You know, it's like, that's my whole desire. So,
so for the record, this is my last question on Slipping. For the record, you said DMX did that record in one take, correct?
yes. Yep. Yeah.
Man.
I laid the, I
crazy.
kid you not, I got off the plane, went to the studio. Right away, I saw Swizz, and he was like, you got joints? I was like, of course. He was like, all right, I'm going to get X. I put the dad in. He picked it. I laid the beat. As soon as the beat was laid, he was like, you laid it? I was like, yup. They had it up on the board. He went in the booth, and he did one take, doubled, did whatever he had to do, did the whole thing. And then there was gosh, I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but the woman who did the background vocals on the chorus, she was actually like in the lounge at the time. And then she came and she did that. She was on American Idol too. I can't remember her name. I feel bad about that, but anyway, she went and she did that like immediately, and the whole record was done that night. And then the next day when I came in, me and Rich Keller, we mixed it, and it was done like immediately. And I had just, stuff was still, like I was still not even settled in. Like I just got there.
Well, let me ask you this though too. Was that a sample?
Yeah, that's a sample. That's
What sample was that?
That's Moonstreams by Grover Washington Jr. And it's actually I'll even give away, what made me look into Grover Washington Jr.
Yeah.
There's a record called Hydra that Black Moon sampled for How Many MCs, and it's Grover Washington. Wow. So I love that beat so much. It was one of my favorite beats, like in that during that time. And I used to listen to the instrumental, shout out to Evil D. And I was like, damn, this is fire. And I was like, I wonder if this guy has other stuff. So then when I went to the record stores and stuff, or, if I would go to a lot of used furniture stores to get the records for cheap. And if I saw Grover Washington, I would pick it up. And so I had like maybe 5 or 6 of his albums by that time. And that particular one, I was like in like a funk, like I was kind of in like a depression, not knowing what I was going to do. That like part of that early 20s where you're like, what am I going to do with my life kind of thing?
Yeah.
And I was like, not showering, like just feeling like crap. And that's when I made that beat. And that's probably why I took, because when I heard the feeling of the, like of that loop, it just fit me so well at that moment. And then I actually used the snare from Hydra on the same album, and then I put it together with the kick. I always used, there was like 4 kicks that I kind of always used.
So he wanted to do that so bad, man, because right. The thing was, he wanted to answer a lot of questions because the first album was so successful and it was still moving as he started working on the second one. The second one,
that was only 6 months after, because he put out the first one, it was in May, and then the second one came out in December.
Yeah, because somebody thought he couldn't do it. Somebody thought he couldn't do it. They was like, I bet you can't do it again. And he's like, what? I can do it right now. You crazy?
Yeah, you're crazy with DMX impressions. You got X down.
Yo, if they ever do a cartoon, we got the voice.
Yeah, back.
What I say? So,
back. So, Shok, let's clear the air. So, Slippin' production was inspired by Black Moon. How many MCs?
Definitely, in a sense, definitely, because that, when you like when you're digging through crates, there's a couple different things that elements that you use. Covers, I'm a sucker for a dope cover. Like if I saw like a psychedelic cover that looked crazy and it was like fusion, and I would just buy it. I would tell the truth. Like I don't know what the hell it is, I'll just buy it because I knew they would have some weird sounds at least. Even if they didn't have a dope groove, they would have some weird sounds that I could like put in intros and stuff. So I would always do that. And the other thing was once I found artists that I liked or musicians that I liked or something, I would look at credits and be like, oh, this guy's on here, or this drummer's on here. I always like his stuff. And so similarly, like with producers, like if someone does a dope record and they pull out a certain artist, that's gonna make me be like, damn, I want to hear that guy's whole collection, because the truth is, there's a certain vibe that that certain artists have, and if they're good and they're dope, chances are they're gonna have some more fire in there. So,
that Slippin' record was powerful, bro.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
And I just want to thank you for actually creating that, man. At the time, for me, I was still in the streets. I'm a calm, reserved man now, but at the time, shit, I had a brand new Durango jewelry, drinking a lot of Henny, messing with a lot of women at the time. And I'm in the hood. I got some dudes over here. They might be smoking, some weed, crack, niggas hustling, chicks doing this. This the environment at the time that record came out. So for us, it just fit right in. So it's like, and I just lost my man at the time. So wow. I'm sitting there drinking, listening to this, and I'm banging the song in the Jeep, and I'm like, damn, yo, I'm not even entitled to all this stuff that's happening. You're not entitled to this female you about to call and go smash just because you can do it. You know what I mean? So I'm having one of them moments when I'm really checking myself. So it came, and that song was a pivotal moment for that. So I salute you and thank you and X for that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Salute you, my brother. Salute, brother.
Thank you. It's very humbling, like, to meet people. I've gotten emails, from people from the other side of the world of how that song got them through something. I've had people just embrace me,
right?
Like find out I made the song and just give me a tight hug.
Yeah.
So it's it's very humbling, and I can't take I take credit for my work and everything, but there's a God part of that. There's a universe part of that yes. I could never recreate, or I feel like somehow that happened and it wasn't for me, or necessarily it wasn't just for me and X. It was actually something beautiful that was actually for a lot of people.
Yes.
And that's why, even though I've had trouble collecting my money to this day on that record, but even though that happens, hold
on. Uh-huh. You can't just throw that out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I've been trying for many years. We've been in court a long time. It's an ongoing thing. This stuff is very slow. I have great attorneys, and they've done a great job. But these things take time. Like what people don't understand. Like people might look and be like, "Man, you've been going for that forever." Most people give up because of this. It literally, I'm not exaggerating, the most basic thing can happen in court, and it takes the judge, 5 months to enter it into the case. What I'm trying to tell you is the most basic, okay, we're going to go from A to B. No, nothing that determines anything. We're just going to go from A to B. That's 5 months. You got to wait. Then when he puts it in, then they schedule with you for the next time you come. So it's not rare to show up in a whole year 2 times, 3 if you're lucky. And then keep in mind how slow things happen. So now you got year. And it's unfortunate, but that's how some it's really something that is in the hip hop community. It's something that is accepted. We do these deals. People don't get paid for their work, and then they don't make a lot of noise about it because they don't want to get shunned. They don't want to get blackballed, which basically that's a big part of the reason why my work slowed down years later, because when you speak out against the system and what people do, it puts you in a weird position. It's like some people, it's their mentor. You know what I'm saying? I'm suing the person that put them on. So it's a weird situation. It's imagine if I was suing, just let's take it out of business. Let's say if I was suing you your best friend, or your brother or your sister or something. Like
Father.
just by nature, I can't really. If I like you and I'm cool with you and we got history, I'm not gonna hate you. I'm gonna give you a pound, but I can't really mess with you too much because it's a weird situation. Like, and you still eat with that person, you know?
Yeah.
Well, let me say this, and this is M.Reck speaking, and I speak to the unsung heroes, and I love the name of this show. So shouts to DJ Moeskieno and DJ Superior. How do you not pay the producer, aka DJ Shok, on slipping? Like, I don't understand that. Like, that's somebody you gotta say, yo, dog, just let me know what we owe you. Let's clear that tab.
You would think, yeah, you would think. And I tried to do it that way many times throughout the years. I tried to do it many times. Like, I didn't want to do it through court because it's just such a hassle. It's like, who wants to do that? Like, there's a scripture that says, it's a proverb, I think, and it's in Proverbs, I think. It says that if you can settle your dispute with the other person on your way to court, do it. It's better than going before the judge because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And one more question on that, not to cut you off, because I gotta say this. Say this. Did you ever speak to DMX about not getting your right?
No, never did. No, like me and Superior, like on opposite sides of the relationship with X. Like, him and Superior were like mad tight, like very, very tight, like friends. Not even if he didn't become famous, Superior would still be, would have been still close to him throughout the years.
Yes, sir.
So that it's not even a thing of him blowing up or not.
Yeah, that was my brother.
Exactly. So it's different. Like, his relationship is like family, like a normal relationship outside of the business.
Yes, sir.
So like me and X, I didn't really know him beforehand. The first time I really met X, I mean, I heard of him, I heard his tapes, I knew X, from the Yonkers popularity, but I never met him until that day when I played the DAT. And then I never really hung out with him, truth be told, because I can't keep up with that. Like, I'm like I said, I'm a studio guy. Now I'm a family. Like, Superior knows me. Like, if you ever wanted to find me, if you went to 167 Sawmill River Road, my car was there, and I was upstairs, right? 24/7, and that's what I liked. So one time I did hang out with X, and I was my first and last because we were in the studio, and he was like, he wanted to hang, and he was like, yo, Shok, come on, let's go. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Yo, he gets in this drop top. He's flying through California. He's stopping at buses, and people recognize him, and he eats it up. Like, it's not like a thing where, like, he's like, yeah, what's up? And he's playing the song. He's playing a song that was like, he just finished in the studio. He's blasting it. And he's just like loving the attention and the people peeling out, so we go to the mall, and the mall is the same way. The mall is like this high energy, moving around, like mad people coming, and like, I'm like, like, I like to go into nature. I like to like be calm and quiet. Like, like that's just a different thing. So it's not that, it was just a thing for me. Like, I couldn't really connect with him because it was we were very different in that way, and it wouldn't be a natural thing. I would have been what we call a dick rider, basically. Like, I would have just been around him just to get something from him. But we didn't connect naturally, so we didn't, but he still, I still did another song. I still did Here We Go Again with him on the next album, and that did good. I mean, that was just
that was big too.
Yeah, that was just on. It was on both 2 or 3 of the greatest hits albums. 'Cause I think he has 3 now, and it was even on. I was watching The Last OG, and he had it the other day. They synced it on there, so that was nice. And
that's a check too, right? Anytime it's played on TV.
Yeah, and luckily,
let me ask you real quick on that. On that record, is the business right on that record?
Not 100%. See, when it syncs, I can still get some money because I'm a writer, and they can't take that from me. So and my publishing company is on the Ask app. So when you want to clear something for a sync, you got to go to the publishers. Like they won't be in right. The only way they could do that without me getting paid was they would have to forge my signature. Because I'm a writer on there, so they all writers.
You got to sign off on it.
Yeah, all writers have to sign off on syncs. There's two sides of syncs. There's master side, which that's usually the label owning that, and then there's the composition side. And on the composition side, the writers got to sign off.
Got you.
Yeah, but the side of the business where it's to do with mechanicals and those years of sales and everything, that's in court basically. Because I can give you a very simple explanation of what happened without even damaging my case or anything, because it's very simple. I won't even talk about the case. Imagine that I work for Superior and we talk and he's like, yo, Shok, I need you to help me with, I got this rowdy punch. We're doing this thing, and I'm gonna give you, I don't know. I'm gonna give you like 20% of all the income and sales or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, okay, bet. So what Superior, this is just hypothetical, because I'm making Superior a bad guy. He's not a bad guy, but Superior.
I'm almost hating. It's all good.
But but you still a good guy. That's all right. So back to the scenario. Then he decides that he goes to pick up from, let's say, the bar or whatever, or the liquor store, and they give him $100. He's supposed to give me 20. He just keeps the 100, and then he keeps doing that. So I got the sale, I got it in the store, and then I'm like, years go by or whatever, and I'm like, yo, you never give me the money you agreed. It's we have a contract. It's all written, and people think it's that. This is the funny thing. Like, I could talk this because I lived it. People think just because you have an agreement that says something, that you can just like be like, yo, we have an agreement. Right. Where's my money? And then you send them a letter. Your lawyer sends this like super letter. Like I never sent those letters. They send this letter, and then everyone goes, oh my God, they sent a letter. We need to pay Shok. You know what they do with those letters? They take them and they throw them in the garbage and they ignore them. The standard operating procedure is ignore. And then what happens is most people give up.
Tap out.
And when I say most, I'm talking 98% give up.
That's how they get over on people, because most people tap out two ways. Because they tired. Yep. And then also they don't have the lawyers, the money for the lawyers to keep the case going.
Right.
Yeah. And some people just are also scared to lose the food. I mean, they're eating, they're scared to say something because, I mean, look at like, even the other day, like, I don't know, it was like 2 months ago, Styles P went on like a rant about I only get this much publishing or something like that. Mm-hmm. But if he wanted to do something about it, he'd alienate himself because he has to go after the people that are still feeding him. So you can't, like, it's a catch-22.
So we see this play out all the time. How do we avoid this at this point?
The only way to avoid this, from what and this is what I'm trying to do with all my new stuff.
Yeah,
you can't have a middleman. You have to put yourself in situations where you have to learn. I mean, really learn the business. Take courses. I mean, I just took like 2 weeks ago. I took a course. I was like 6 hours on a course, learning about stuff. I'm still learning. It's very complicated. Like, it's not like, a lot of people put out these things on Instagram, do this and do that.
Right.
That's just a tiny bit. There's so many ways to collect money. You have to learn, it's like too much to even get into here. Yeah. But just to say that there's money artists and producers are supposed to get from plays. Mm-hmm. There's a company that does that. then there's money from publishing, then there's money from mechanicals, and the thing is to always get your everything to you. The letters of direction have to be straight to you. The producer agreements, even if you do something and let's say if I was signed to Rough Riders and I would have done producer agreements that said, I'm signed to you. Let's honor that. This little thing, a lawyer could have saved my life, a good lawyer. He could have just said, yeah, Shok signed to you. You get this much, and you're going to get that straight from Universal. And then Universal, we're going to put this in the agreement, going to give Shok his percentage directly.
Yeah,
that one little thing would have changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Now, you saying that, I got to piggyback off that.
Uh-huh.
So basically, is it Rough Riders and Universal owes DJ Shok life-changing money?
What it is this is what it is. It's Universal takes the stance where we're not liable, right? Because the way it works is there's an agreement that they're honoring that Rough Riders has with me. So they give that agreement to Universal and they say, look, right here it says you got to pay us. We'll take care of Shok.
Wow.
Back to the the Rowdy Punch example. So we know what they're doing with that. So that right there is the problem. So I can't go to the label. So why was this fight and why has this fight been so difficult? Is because labels hang up on you. They got nothing to say to you. They'll be like, they'll just tell you. They'll even give you the name of the person at Rough Riders that they're dealing with. They'll tell you that, call that guy up. He's the one we send all the statements to for the past 20 years. That's the guy to talk to. And so it's not their problem because look at it like this. Like I could have done that in that same situation, Like let's just say Superior, let's say I had a manager and Superior was giving the manager 20%. And I was thinking all these years that he's stealing my money. And I go to Superior, yo, where's my money for the places I got Rowdy Punch in? And then he's like, Shok, I've been giving the money to your manager all these years. I can't go after him anymore. Now I go after the manager. So it's not, people think it's cut and dry. And that's the frustrating thing because people can be very critical of me, whatever. You should have done a deal. You should have done that. I knew the deal I signed. Like I'm not like in a situation where I'm like complaining. Like, oh, you should have gave me. They took half my publishing. I don't complain about that. I was a grown man. I was 20-something years old. I did that and I knew what I was doing. I never complained about that. I just complained that you didn't even give me the half. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my I would never, like, as a man, if I signed something and I agreed to it, I would never complain about that because I knew what I was doing and I knew that was a stepping stone to do something else. The only time I would ever complain in a business situation, because I feel like that's just whining, like, and complaining. Like, you signed it. Like, I don't understand. Like, how could you be mad about something you signed? It might not have been fair, but you should have, you had representation. My thing isn't that. My thing is, I knew I signed something bad. My lawyer told me. He told me I can't really, what did he say? I can't represent you if you sign this. I signed it anyway. And I knew what I was doing. But I expected to get what it said.
Bless my boy that's not here no more, DJ Bling. Like he was a big time producer from the town that really didn't get his due. He did that song with Styles and Genovese. I forget that song. Thesis.
Yeah. I was listening to that the other day and that beat was so fire.
I remember him telling me, yo, man, tell Shok don't sign that, man.
Yeah, he told me.
And I was like, I ain't getting involved in that, man. He
told me.
He got it. I said, he knows what to do and what not to do. I was just worrying about, Shok could tell you, I always had about 400 crates of records in my house. Like, I was doing some other shit, so I wasn't even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? But my man Jay Blinn and him,
Yo, Glenn was like we were really tight, and Glenn told me
that's one of the guys, M.Reck, that Yonkers lost.
Yeah.
He didn't get his due, but he's like one of the main dudes.
Bro, when I tell you, like, not to cut you off, Superior, but I just want to speak as a producer about Jay Blen. Like, he was doing what Kanye started doing, what Just Blaze started doing, like all that whole blueprint thing. That was being in Blen's house. Those were the beats he was doing years before. The sped up, that was his sound. That was his like this soulful, natural Jay Blen sound on the S950, on the SB12. And he was magnificent, and he warned me, but my answer was like, yo, but I cut you off, Superior. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead.
I just wanted to big up Blen. Like I felt like I wanted to do that.
Nah, it's just the thing that we built this show on. We built the show on DJs because Jay Blen was a DJ too.
Yeah,
he used to do the little church parties and stuff. He wasn't a big DJ, but he started as a DJ. Mm-hmm. Then he was doing the producing. He even showed Swizz, I believe, how to work one of one of those machines. I remember him showing them or whatever how to work it or whatever. Because when they bought the equipment, certain stuff they didn't know how to work. But it's just crazy as DJs all over the world don't get their due for things that they have done. Shok even opened a studio. He built a studio from scratch.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
That's another story. It's a famous studio, Reck.
Yeah. No, look, the D Block, man, D Block Studio. That was my studio. And that basically, I had that studio. I had it from 96 to like probably 02 or 03. Yeah. And then I did a deal with them and I passed the key to them. But we did me and Sheik, all the early D Block. That's all produced by me. Monday Night Football, all the solo Sheik songs, all produced by me. I did probably we set D Block off at my studio, me and Sheik. We did about 20, I would say like 20 songs, J Hood, that J Hood Styles joint that was deep, that was hard. Like we did a lot of stuff in the studio. Like we were like very active trying to, just create like a buzz for Sheik because at the time, the truth is, everything was about Styles and Jada. Like Sheik was kind of like be at the studio and I always remembered the verses like on Benjamin's and like I had like a high outlook of Sheik. Like I didn't see him like that. I saw him like as somebody really dope who was kind of like not being used enough like how he should be in my opinion. So we were sitting one time in the studio and I was like, yo, Sheik, whenever you want, come to my studio and just show up and we'll just make songs.
Yo, I got songs on Sheik where when they was the Bomb Squad, Sheik was the one really attacked. If I play some for you from Sheik was the aggressive one. When it was just him and Jay and it was Bomb Squad, Sheik was the aggressive one. So after a while, but it was a good thing that he did the business part, Reck. So he did the deal with Shok, and they did the D Block studio. But it's crazy because every time somebody talks to me about it, I just got into an argument with somebody, and they're gonna tell me, no, they built their own. Like I always hate to see somebody that think they know everything. I'm like, bro, I was there, bro. I know who built the studio.
It's funny how that happens.
You know what I'm saying? Don't say nothing to me about none of that. You know what I'm saying? But
I met my wife while I was painting that studio for the first time. I was at the gas station pumping gas and I was full of paint because I was painting that studio in '96. That's we've been together since '96. Yeah. And I talked to her like she was like, what the hell is this guy with paint all over him? And long story short, we're like still together. But that's how far back. Yeah, we built.
I thought it was crazy when I first went in there. I said, what the hell is y'all building in here? All I seen was a bunch of wood.
Yeah.
And they like, yo, this is going to be this room. This is going to be this. And I was like, these niggas is crazy. I'm out of here.
My uncle did the same thing.
Yeah,
I showed him the place and he looked at me. He was like, it's not a good idea, Mike. I did it though. But that's the thing. Like one of the things, sometimes you got to like, you know, and even though all this stuff happened with Rough Riders and see, like, people were trying to look out for me because they knew what would probably happen. But the truth, you know why I signed with them, Superior? I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Never knew.
Because I bet people wonder. It's very simple. Remember, I'm a music person. I'm not claiming I'm from here, from the street. I was the kid that you looked at with the Walkman on, with Red Alert blasting, cool with different people that if I would connect with anybody if it was music, if it was that. I was a DJ. That was my entrance into like knowing people in my neighborhood, you know, on Riverdale. I grew up on Riverdale, and that was my entrance. So remember, music, so that this will make sense what I'm about to say to you. He used to come to just like he used to go to J Blaine all the time. He wanted to sign Big Man. I used to call him Big Man. Yeah, he always used to go. He want to sign him. So Y used to come to my basement when I had my independent label. And he would be like, yo, you know, you got some joints. So I would come sometimes, play beats and everything, but I didn't feel like I wanted to sign with them. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like that. So he knew that. And then one day, I don't know, maybe I went to play beats and I wasn't thinking of signing. He goes, yo, Shok, come down to the car. I want to play you something. And at this time, only Get At Me Dog was out. And it was only out a little bit. Like, when I say a little bit, I mean, we heard it. It didn't spread fire yet. Very early. They had the whole album done, though, on Def Jam. Wild plays me the whole album. First album. When he finished playing it, I listened to it straight, and I just kept looking at him like, what the hell? Because I slept on them. I'm going to tell you the truth. I slept on them crazy. I was like, these guys don't need... in my basement, I had radio promotions in my basement. I hired somebody doing hits, CMJ, Gavin. I knew about stuff in the business. They had no clue. So I didn't really feel like they could really make it happen.
You was giving me records to take to the record pool.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't really have that level to them. But when I heard that, and I knew it was on Def Jam, and I had already heard, Get At Me Dog, it didn't blow. That's when we started. At the end of that day, that time I listened to the whole album in his car, I looked at him. I said, let's do it. I'm signing. And he was, he smiled, and, he got a lot. He profited very well off of my off of my deal with him. But it was the music. It was the music. And I don't regret it, because I'll tell you something, man. The artists they had, man, I've done 5 records with Eve. I've done 2 more that weren't released. I did stuff with all of their in-house artists, and it's powerful, man.
Infrared, Cross,
everybody, and and even outside. I mean, I got to do stuff with countless, Tina Marie, Big Pun. I mean, Fat Joe, Remy. I did Remy Martin's first record. Miss Martin. I've done so many things that sprang out of that, thing. And so I don't regret it as a music person, because that was my dream.
Which
wasn't smart.
Which Pun record? You got to name a few of those records. What Pun record?
I did You Was Wrong, the one with him, Drag, Fat Joe and Remy on Yeah Baby.
Yeah.
And then I did Miss Martin, which is where he introduced Remy to the world.
Yeah.
So those 2 I did with him. But I did.
Tina Marie, which one was that?
Tina Marie with Eve, Life So Hard. She sang the chorus.
Okay.
Which was a big deal for me, because Tina Marie was another, wow. I used to love. When I used to DJ, even though her records were a little bit old, when I would put on Square Biz and certain records of hers just popped. It was just, everybody went crazy. So I had a lot of love for Tina Marie, Behind the Groove, these records that just never die,
Right.
You did Training Day too, right? For the
I did Training Day for the Locks. I did honestly, it's a lot of songs. Sometimes I can't even remember in good records, stuff that people burned. I did a lot. I mean, even Saigon, he was basically when he got hip hop quotable and he started to blow up.
Yeah.
I produced that.
Dope, bro.
The one with the Hill Street Blues beat. It's called Shock TV. So I have like, I mean, there's an extensive amount of people that, I mean, I've worked with, you know, even Lord Tariq, like, you know, it's a lot of names and a lot of good records, you know, Styles, you know, Soul Clap, Nobody Believes Me, which is one of my favorites. That's the one where like everybody gets like a voice, the money talks to him, and I love that record because it was really creative. And so I love music, man, and I got to work with like amazing artists, and that's what I wanted to do. I mean, Busta, I did Imperial with Busta and Rah Digga, her single, her big record.
Yeah,
that was a big club record, and
word.
And I did like and another thing too. I've done the records for a lot of people's life stories. I did X life story, Dragon's life story. It's called You Know What You Knew. Life Still Goes On. That's Drag's story. I did Eve's life story, which is called Heaven Only Knows, and I did Busta's life story, which is called How Much We Grew.
Yeah.
So there was something about my music that made people want to tell like their life story for whatever reason. And I believe that's because I come from a music place, you know, I don't come from, it was never a thing for me to like flash. It was never that. It was never, and Superior could tell you, did you ever look at me and be like, Shok went Hollywood?
Never.
Not 1 second. I was the same, regular. I like my music.
He didn't even act like he did a big record. Every time I seen him, he act the same.
He chill right now. Cool.
That's how he always been. But sometimes, no disrespect to nobody though, but sometimes when we're like this, they take advantage of us.
Absolutely. It's true. It's
like
the perfect.
Me, for instance, I go through it. He knows I went through it. I'm supposed to be a multi-millionaire talking to y'all. But it's all good.
Yeah,
the last will finish first.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
yes.
Right?
Yes, I believe that. You know,
But
and there's something.
You said one important thing that earlier that you feel revitalized right now. You feel real good, like you just started, like a fresh kid right now.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, like when I'm DJing parties and events right now, I feel the same way, bro.
Is that my headphones?
We hear you, Mo. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I'm saying, you feel revitalized right now. Like, what's the temperature like for you now? What's next for you?
Well, it's gonna sound a little weird, but after all these years, like I feel like I finally developed like an actual sound, like that's completely different. And I actually experimented. I did. I don't. You guys know Ski Beats? Like he did all the Jay-Z stuff and everything.
That's who Sporty Thieves was signed to.
Right, exactly. Like he did. I'm feeling it, and he was with Original Flavor. Like he's got an extensive history. Well, he's a beat guy to me that like I'm like in awe of. Like he's a master beat man. Like he's insane. Like outside of everything, he's just so dope. And he does this thing like it's called Smoke Pack Volume 1, where he has people remix. And I remixed using this new style, and I think it's pretty dope. You know, like it got a lot of good comments, and people are saying, "Yo, this is very unique," and that's what I want to develop now because I've never actually intentionally gone in a certain direction and purposely was like, "Yo, this is something I want to keep like improving this specifically," you know?
Right.
And that's why I'm pretty excited because I got the comment, you know, it's a small thing. I mean, it didn't blow me up, but what people wrote in comments, it spoke to me because that's what I felt when I heard it.
Right.
So it's kind of nice, like if you have a vision to be like, okay, I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying what I thought when I heard it, and it's hard to be objective because it's mine.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice.
You can, like you said, you can't tell because it's you, but you just need some confirmation that you're on the right track.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that did it for me. And now I'm like, I'm all in. I'm gonna work on that sound.
Right.
And you know, as in production wise, and the other thing that I'm working on now, which is why I've been taking classes, is I'm trying to do more instrumental syncing in like film and TV. Because it's a good income.
Right.
And if you just make some adjustments to what they're looking for,
right,
it's a nice way to earn some income. That way it frees you up to do the things that you're real excited about, like developing a sound or something like that, you know?
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Superior, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thing was bugging out. My thing was bugging out. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But yo, Shok,
right.
Shok is the illest. Can we like out of all the DMX records, man? Can we say "Slippin'" is the biggest record that he ever created, or am I bugging?
To me, "Slippin's" the biggest record.
I feel like it is.
I
Because
think
it carried a whole album by itself. Like I said, we wasn't even thinking about doing another video. I know the other video was done, but that video didn't carry that album. X was already ready to work on the third album. X was already, all right, let's start the next one. Like X.
It's true.
Yeah, we good. We already have 4 million. The next one.
I don't know how you do that.
Oh man! Hey, listen. Look, can we do this? Can we have Superior act like X and rhyme over one of your beats?
No, I ain't doing that. Heck no. Big shout out to my boy Clark. My boy Clark told me, he was like, yo, you should do that. I was like, hell no, I ain't doing that.
Or at least talk over it.
Nah, I'm good.
There was somebody that was doing that sounded like Pac. I remember one time we heard we were in Enterprise Studio. Oh God, I don't know when, like early 2000s, and Suge Knight was there, and he played some stuff, and he was like, I got someone that sounds like Pac, and he played a couple songs, sound just like Pac.
Wow.
I don't think they ever did anything with it, but it was astounding.
I heard a record where they were trying to say that was Pac or whatever, but
might have been that guy. Yeah. It was like, damn, he sounds like he's a lot like him.
How was the song? Did the song come out good or no?
It was pretty.
The song was good. It sounded like Pac.
Yeah,
but you could tell he was talking about stuff that happened now. So they was trying to do that bullshit. Like
it's a time.
They might be trying to play on that.
Yeah,
like make controversy. Like is he still around? Type of thing.
Right.
But Pac was before his time because if you remember, he was talking about the world wasn't ready for a black president. He was right, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs too. That's Changes, right? Changes.
Yeah.
I love that record. What a good record. That's one of my favorite records. Changes.
Yeah. So you wasn't in the Slippin' video?
No, I wasn't. Listen, man, I got to take full responsibility for that because I was not in tune. Like I said, it's the truth is the truth, man. Like I can't blame nobody necessarily for me not being in videos because it's not like they were like asking me to come.
Right.
But I wasn't really like, oh, I need to make sure I'm there type of thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I probably could have been in it maybe. I don't know because I didn't even attempt. But it wasn't a thing. You know why? Because I'm thinking like DJ Premier. Now he's more like out there.
Right.
But he was one of the guys I looked up to, and he was always like in the, you read the credits, he was like in the background.
He was in the background. He was chilling.
And I respected that, and I was like, I want to be in the background, but I didn't realize that there is a bad side to being in the background, and if I would have really truly understood it,
right?
And one time, I was hanging around with Swizz, and people kept coming up to him, and it was early, like he was only in a couple videos at that time, and he was like, "Yo, you don't understand, like how many people come up to me, and how much like power that is, like." He said, I just been in 2 videos. And he was like, you would not believe, like anywhere I go, someone recognizes me.
Yeah.
And it's true. There's a big power of just showing your face on a big platform.
Right.
It automatically, it's like, oh, that's so-and-so. And it's like people just know you.
So,
and
not to cut you off, so you imagine that was you in that video, spit these bars. Boom.
Yeah, it could have, but this is the problem, and this is something that I believe. I have 2 boys. One's 19, one's 14.
Right.
And the reason I'm saying that is because I've learned something about personalities by raising kids. I'm me. Like that's just I hate. I gotta be like I'm more comfortable talking now. I've progressed. I express myself better now that I'm older. I've grown as a person.
Right.
But I'm just not in my personality to do that necessarily. Like now I understand, like I gotta be out more, and I will try, like, you know, God willing, if I get a chance to have another nice run.
Right.
I want to purposely be identifiable, like, you know, so people don't put the wrong picture on my thing, you know, which is, you know, it's gonna happen.
Yo,
it's
that
gonna
artist,
happen.
not to cut in, but that artist y'all was talking about, Young Poppy online, said it was The Realist. That was his name, The Realist. And he sounded like Tupac. That was his name.
That was him then. Yeah, I just never caught the name.
Yeah, just to let you know, Rec got a movie out called Best Friends.
Best Friends, man.
Yes, sir.
And he's working on part 2, so you know we got to get y'all together, you know what I'm saying, see if we can get some
fire,
like the instrumental or something from you, Shok.
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. I'm all about that right now.
We're doing a lot. We're doing the prequel, the sequel, and the series, and then we go into the Grustler movie. So there's a lot going on since we put out the Best Friends movie like a month ago, and I put it out independently on my own platforms, and it caught fire.
Wow.
The people, they want part 2. They want, you know, a series. You know what I mean? Then the industry, they reached out. You know what I'm saying? And they bought it. And like, shouts to Fat Man Scoop and Star, formerly a Star and Buck Wild. You know, Star of the Star Report.
Wow.
You know, they, you know, bigged it up on their platforms and gave it praise and all that. And mind you, I never sent it to them. You know what I'm saying? So,
dope.
You know, it shows the power of independence. So shouts to you, Superior, man. I appreciate the alley-oop on that. But yeah,
I'm always gonna do that, man. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to everybody in our chat room, Young Poppy, everybody else up in there. I see y'all.
Salute.
Just hit that button like Reck always said. Hit that button.
Pound the like button, huh?
Hit
that like button.
Y'all know
I'm touching that Best Friends real quick, yo. If you ever check that out, I ain't gonna give it away, but man, it's an ill story. It's a nice little twist.
I'm gonna check it out. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Salute.
For sure.
I just wanted the world to know, man. I'm so happy that if you see the way Shok carries himself, he always been like this. Like, it's never been no. Even if he was mad, I wouldn't know, because he does it a whole different way. I'll be like, fuck that. Shok be like, Soup.
Yeah, man. You know who used to give me lectures about that? You remember DJ iRock?
iRock, yeah.
Oh my God, he was signed to Rough Ryders, so he would lecture me. He'd be like, "Shok, how do you do this?" He was like, we would go over what just happened. He'd be like, "This just happened," and da-da-da-da, and you just hear, like, you just gonna keep playing beats, and and I'd be like, "Man, you just gotta do it, man. This is it, man." And it's like it takes like a certain temperament to like kind of be able to be in an environment that's kind of like, you know, I mean, the you know, one of their what do you call that, like mantras is starve the pups, you know, starve the pups. That's like a way of living for them, you know, like to make sure like the up and coming don't eat, so they'll be hungry and they'll be more like aggressive to work harder and try and get noticed. So you work in that type of environment. You know, my way was to just be passive and be like, all right, I'll get it. You know, I'll work on this a different angle, and I'll try and get the placement like this, or, you know, like I was always just, because in that environment, it was, in my opinion, it was the smarter thing to do at that moment, but it was not an easy thing to do. You know, I had to be like on some like Zen mode, be like, all right, you know, and trusting, and, you know, and I was also, you know, I also have like a spiritual sense. So I would even quote scriptures in my head, like no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You know, I would always quote that in my head, like while I was in that environment a lot. You know, I would, for some reason, I wouldn't say it out loud enough, but in my head, I would say that, and I would feel like I'm going to keep going and something is going to pan out. And I still feel that way to this day. That's why I still fight, you know, and I think it's just I'm not like no genius. I'm not. The only thing I could pat myself on the back for is that I never give up. That's the only thing I could pat myself on the back for. I can't be like, yo, I'm the great, because truth be told, there's other producers that were better than me. I could you know, I'm not blind. I see things, and I know, you know, who's nicer and who's this and who's that.
Yeah, but it ain't really about that, Shok. It's about, you got to give people, like Rex said, you got to give kings their crowns. You know what I'm saying? The lineup that you named and the people that you named. There's producers out there that did like 2 or 3 joints, and to be looked at as a, no disrespect to Khaled, you know what I'm saying? I know that, but I don't care. I mean, I don't care anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking real. Like, you're a producer. You go in there and mess with beats and do what you do.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at the fame Khaled got. Khaled got the fame off of old Puff Daddy hustle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Getting records, switching it and having people rhyme on it. It's the same damn beat. It's the same whatchamacallit. So, you know what I'm saying? You're a producer. I want them to know you right there. You right there. But like you said, you didn't. I just want people to know that, yo, Shok, he from Yonkers. We got bigger stories than y'all know. The stories that y'all keep being fed is a whole bunch of more producers. That PK, big shout out to PK.
Yeah,
PK did a lot of stuff. We got to give PK
man,
his
PK, man, like, and that, not for nothing, he's another reason why I wanted to go there, because, like, once I found out how much he did on the first album, like, I knew PK, I knew him as Pent, I knew him from Yonkers, and I knew that he was producing. There was a certain studio he used to work out of, not Rough Ryders, a different one.
No, it was in Running Heights. He was working out of studio, Running Heights, with an MC called Bombay.
Bombay, yes. From he's like around that same neighborhood.
Because he was a DJ too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And when I like PK, like, salute to PK, because, like, I mean, yeah, I did Slippin', but that first album, it's that first album. I wasn't on that first album, and that first album is like so monumental to me because, see, you can pick the best, you know, I mean, best is subjective. It's just an opinion. People argue about who's the best all day. But one of the good, I was talking with a friend the other day, and a good defining thing to when you're going to pick people is pick people who changed everything when they came in. And when you do that, like, pick a producer, let's not say best, but let's pick like an MC who, when they dropped this, everything changed.
They moved the needle.
Exactly. And to me, those are the people, if you're going to be like, these are key people, instead of arguing about who's best and who's better, who's this, I think those things speak the loudest. And to me, that album in particular, it like, you know, you remember Pretty Superior? Isaiah, he was known as, he had a bunch, it's Isaiah, Jerome, Pretty, Pizza Killer. Well, anyway, yeah, but he actually had a cassette of, like, when they were messing around with Get At Me Dog in the studio. They were just freestyling one night, but it wasn't like a record yet. And he's brought it over. And I listened to it at that point, and I even said to him that night, I said, if this does really well, because we were feeling it, we're like, it's kind of dope. I was like, if this does really well, I got to change the way I look at everything. And that is what X did. He made people change how you look at everything. Like, even with the fact that there was less sampling, you know, throughout that, it was just, there was samples on there, and I think they should have had more samples, because samples did really well for Rough Ryders, but they didn't let us sample. They should have had more samples, but that's another story. But anyway,
Get At Me,
he
Dog.
changed everything.
Get At Me, Dog. Some of those lyrics, we had those shits done in 92.
Yeah.
I could play Get At Me, Dog in
But
92.
What I heard, though, it wasn't even like Get At Me, Dog. It was like the beat, and like they were all just spitting on it. It was just like a vibe, like a session they had.
Yeah.
Like maybe before they made the record.
But one thing we got to do, though, and I tell people that all the time, like, one thing we got to do is the R was learning. They was also learning. So it's not like they was experts. This is not taking them off the hook for anything, but they also this was Wise Dreams. This was Joaquin's dream. So he did all the
That's
work
true.
in the beginning. And he made that go worldwide. So you was part of
Yeah.
that machine. You
Yep.
added to that machine. You know what I'm saying? I still
Yeah.
got my joint. I still got my
Ah.
joint. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you added to the machine. You created a moment. That's what you just said as a producer. You created a moment. Slipping was a moment.
Yeah.
I didn't even think he was going to do it because we had that record done before, and we was like, he was basically on there talking about him doing drugs because he you know, eventually, dog, somebody's going to say something. So he did Slipping to answer any of that. So when you would say something about him, they'd be like, nigga, you heard Slipping. He said it in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he said it in a way where you didn't know, like, slipping and falling. I can't get up. Basically, he kept saying, I keep doing it, and I keep trying to stop, but I keep falling again. You know, I might have slipped once or twice, but the Timbs got grit, meaning he got back up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love him, man. And what's coming up that we're doing, just to let everybody know, on December 18th, the governor made it DMX Day.
That's
so
right. Yep.
yeah, we pushed. We got a lot of stuff for his birthday that we're doing in the town, and we got a contest called Who Has the X Factor. So it's videos being sent in from everybody who raps at 914 or whatever, and me, Sporty Thieves, and an A&R from Def Jam. We're gonna go over the videos, and we're gonna pick the top 10 artists with the hottest videos who got the X Factor. Meaning they don't gotta rhyme like X and all that. They just gotta have that determination, that, you know, hustle he had, that, you know, that's what we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So that's the contest that we got going on right now.
Salute.
That's great.
Yo, Shok.
And 2 people did Slipping, just to let you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Dope.
Well, yo, Shok, real quick. If you can, all the hardware that's behind you, could you go through that catalog real quick?
Yeah, sure. So you have Eve, Rough Riders First Lady. I did 2 songs
Go to
on
the
there.
record, Shok.
Yeah.
Oh, to go to it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go to
It's
the
gonna be
records
kinda-
on the wall. That's what we had Al do. So
All right.
Now leave the
you do
camera
the same
there,
thing,
and
man.
stand up and
You got
hold up.
you got your crown here, man. You gotta,
All right.
you know,
So,
this is your
can
moment.
You see it? Can you even
you in
see
your
it?
boxes or something?
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to get up.
Take your camera over there, yo.
Oh yeah, my
Stay
bad.
right there, my G. Stay right there, my G. Yeah, it'll get spooky.
Yeah, there we go.
You do
Right
that.
here. You can see him though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Point to it.
Point to the ones, because we
Alright,
see gold
so-
at the bottom and platinum at the
these,
top.
Look, these 2 right here. These are Grammy nominations. One is for Here We Go Again,
Okay.
for X, and the other one is for Scorpion with Eve.
Okay.
And then you have up top here, that's Eve, Rough Riders First Lady. I did the What Y'all Want remix on there with Heaven Only Knows.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then down here you got Big Pun, Yeah Baby. And that's actually platinum now. I got that gold one, but then after I got it, it went platinum.
Salute.
And that I had Yeah Baby. I'm sorry, You Was Wrong. And then the other one was Miss Martin, which is the one where he introduced Remy to everybody.
Right.
Down here is Jadakiss. And on that one I did Cruisin'. That's the record with Snoop and Jadakiss.
Yeah, that was hard.
Okay.
And then up top, that's Eve Scorpion. I did 3 on there. I did Life So Hard, Be Me,
Wow.
and damn, what was the other record? Life So Hard.
You got some hardware, boy.
Yeah, if we didn't do this show, we would never know. Because I didn't even know
I can't
those.
even remember it's Be Me. I can't even remember. It's Be Me, Life So Hard, and for some reason the other one escapes me. But I know it's 3 on there. And then you got X Slippin' is on the other side over there.
Okay.
Then you got Drag On, which I did Spit These Bars, first single on there, and Life So Hard. Then you got Styles P, which is Soul Clap on that album, and Nobody Believes Me. And then up top you got And then there was X, which is Here We Go Again. And I did that one on there. And then over here you can't see, which is Busta Rhymes Anarchy, which I did How Much We Grew, which is like when he told his life story. And then, you know, I did stuff, the Flip Mode Squad record on Tony Touch, Set It On Fire.
Wow.
I did those didn't go like, you know, like platinum. That what else? Oh yeah, Rod Digger, The Imperial. That was the first single on that album. And also Do the Ladies was another record on that album I did, which that one did pretty good too in mix shows. And I would say that's the wall there. And then, but I have a whole bunch of independent stuff.
Double salute.
Word.
Thank you.
Super salute.
But I got like a whole like catalog of stuff I did before that, independent, like that did well in the underground, that actually have like a niche audience from that time, like from the 90s. And I did a lot of stuff on like underground labels like Official Joints, a ton of records on there. I had my own label, Mass Vinyl. And I used to put out Shock Beats Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3 on vinyl. Like,
I got the
records.
records still. I got them.
Shock Therapy, that was another thing I was putting out. And I was producing like all kind of underground artists at that time, like just, you know, like in the 90s, basically.
Got you. Now, if you had to add up just the hardware on your wall, how many millions you would think?
I will have to read my Instagram, and I'll tell you, because I figured it out, and I put it in my Instagram. I'll tell you right now. It's 14 times platinum, 3 times gold. So that's like 15 and a half. Yep. So that's 15 and a half million.
15 and a half million records sold.
Yeah.
From beats you produce.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Legend, bro. Legend.
Thank you.
Word.
Yeah.
Salute, King.
Appreciate that, man. Now you see why I didn't want to get up. I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
I got so, you know what it is? I got so used to, like, you know, when you do like a Zoom call and everything, I was like, yo, let me be comfortable, man. I'm in my room here. I'm like, I was like, what's that for, man?
And yo, it's funny. We just having that conversation. Most people who do Zoom calls, they have naked anyway.
Yeah.
Word up. They be naked as hell.
Yo, big shout out to you, Shok. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
You know,
thank you for doing
MRecktv
this.
show, the Unsung Heroes, and then, you know, this was a great moment. And we love that we have you on the show, our second show. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to everybody in the chat room, like I said. Hit that like button. And all you MCs out there, hey, holla at Shok.
Holla at him.
Yeah, Shok.
He's a platinum producer.
Yes.
Very easy with technology. Shockbeats.com, SHOKBEATS.com. You can get at me, and my Instagram is simple DJ SHOKBEATS, DJ Shok Beats. No C, and that's it. That's me, and very easy to find me.
Check this out. I want y'all to hear something. This is for, you know, like your rec, real quick. You know, X month coming up. I just wanted y'all to hear something, how what we used to do in the room before it got to Shok. So before it got to Shok, we used to do this to it.
Oh, that's that motherfucking shit, yo.
Yeah,
and watch what I do to it. I can bounce off a beat like a basketball. Can this nigga stay in the rain? Don't even ask the y'all. Are you dead? I can sense what it is that I'm counting when it comes to a show. Yo, I rock like a mountain. I got the fountain of flow. When I drink from every day, so
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You left us hanging.
Yeah.
That's a tease. That's fire.
That's a tease, I know. But that's all we used to do, like sit in the room and do stuff and do. I used to tell him, murder everybody on the wall. Like, I used to have people's pictures on the wall. Yo, right around for him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's how we used to do it.
That DMX spitting to Lords of the Underground.
Yeah.
What's the name of that beat again?
Is that the Funky Child?
Yeah,
yeah, that's Funky Child.
Yeah.
DMX rapping some Lord's Underground.
Potential gets spent like a peso, okay? So act like you heard what I said. Cause if you're thinking about copping the police, that shit is dead. Only thing that you'll be able to do before you die, stick your head between your legs and kiss that ass goodbye. Why must I force to kill again and again?
Crazy. I need that. I need that. Stop holding out, man. Superior, what you doing, man?
I gotta chill, man. People be online.
Yeah,
they'll grab something, put it on whatchamacall.
It's exclusive on MRecktv, but Shok.
I had to do that for MRecktv though. I
appreciate the Shok. Before you go, we're gonna need a drop. But before we get into the drop, name your top 5 hip hop producers.
That's gonna be. I have to do. I'm gonna try and use that what I was saying about people who changed. So I'm gonna say Arthur Baker and John Roby, which nobody says, but I'm saying that because they set off that like electronic hip hop, which is like Planet Rock, and then they pushed that into motion. So I want to say them, and then Mantronic was a big part of that, and he inspired me a lot, especially because like I would look at the covers and he was carrying a beat machine. So that was like the first, as a DJ, that was like my first kind of glimpse into even thinking about, making a record or something like that. He walked around with the beat machine and they were always talking about him. So I'll put Mantronic in there. DJ Premier like has to be in there because his sound is like just so steady.
Facts.
And basically I would even dare say that what ended up being called boom bap is really Premier, in my opinion. Like what ended up, that's why I would say
I agree.
Because it's really DJ Premier's bounce. That's boom bap is DJ Premier's bounce.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because and another one, Pete Rock. I got it. It's gonna be hard to just say 5. My God, there's so many great ones. But Pete Rock, even though it's boom bap, it's not like if you make a beat that sounds like Pete Rock, it's gonna just have that like energy, you know what I mean, of boom bap. But like boom bap, I feel like it's Premier. And but you look at records like from Pete Rock, like They Reminisce Over You. I mean, you talk about slipping, They Reminisce Over You. My God, what a song, what a record, what production, what a monumental song. It's just crazy, like.
Iconic record.
Yeah. So like a record that you just put on and it's like they made it yesterday. It's
hip hop in its
crazy.
truest form.
So it's hard to limit, man. Hard to limit. But though I can't forget like for production for me, you got Large Professor, but you have I was thinking about actually in the same camp though.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Tribe. I was thinking about Q-Tip. Because that album Low End Theory, like there were certain moments like that informed my production so much because it was like, you can't forget. How could I have not, Marley Moore. Marley Moore, someone who came in and changed everything. Marley Moore chopping things up, doing that. Marley Moore, so there's like, I could just keep on. There's so many incredible producers that I admire and listen to. And even, I don't know even the names of the guys out now, but I listen, man. Like one of the things that I'm doing with my new style is one of the things that I give to this generation that they slaughter my generation on is melodies. Like they're so dope with the melodies, these producers, and that's what I've been learning from them. So I don't want to have a swing like they do because I like my swing. I like my stuff a certain way and it just feels good to me. So I don't know if I want to swing like them because it doesn't feel good. But I'm robbing their melody styles, their changes, the chords that they put, and that's part of what I'm trying to do is combining the changes because they change a lot. They have multiple melodies. And I think in that sense, this generation, they're brilliant. I don't know all their names because I listen and I just soak it up. I don't really follow it like when I was a kid and I used to just be like, who's on this record, who's on that record. but generally speaking, they're amazing, man. The melodies and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to combine it, like.
Well,
And then I also have
melodies,
something else.
You're right about the melodies. Some of the melodies is hot, but some of the artists is garbage.
No, that's a whole nother. Yeah, some of them. It's, but then even, I think what ends up happening is that, well, yeah, I mean, we can't.
Yeah, I don't want nobody to get mad at me like, oh, you talking about?
It's true.
No, but y'all mumbling all day.
I think that.
I think that
the tracks got so consumed with these great melodies that, because before we relied on the MC to put melody in there, like you know, like something in there in the chorus or something, or it was very rhythmic and the rhythm would change. So we had these like trumpet playing rappers who was like, you know, like, and that was giving you the melody. And now there's so much melody in the beats that I think the rappers don't have to make the melodies anymore. So they can just be like, and that's enough because the melody's already screaming in the back, you know, and it's working. So
they might as well just tell the whole beat by itself at this point.
You know what's messed up is if you look at the producer community, producers are getting the short end of the stick a lot of times right now, because they're doing these. I mean, I don't want to get too much in the business side, but they're doing a lot of these buyout deals. The artists, you know, they're just buying out the beat from a lot of producers, so they're just taking it. Like they're giving them like $400 or $500 early,
right?
And then they taking ownership of the beat and everything. They're just taking it.
So
and that's wrong.
You're basically saying they're doing the Easy Mo B deal.
Oh man.
I don't know about that one. I don't know how that worked.
Reck know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I know Easy Mo B was doing that with Diddy. So you mean to tell me Diddy was cashing them out and he didn't get no back end?
It was just good business. If that's the way it happened.
Yo, if you call that good business.
I mean, yeah, you can do it. They call it a work for hire. Yeah. And if you sign it and you take the money, that's the way it goes.
If you got a beat that you playing, I hear it, which was given to somebody else, and then they didn't want it. Craig didn't even want to do Flavor in Your Ear. He didn't like it. Diddy was like, do it. I'm telling you, that's a hit. Craig didn't want to do it, but he eventually did it. Easy Mo B thought it was, you know, like, it's an average beat. How much you gonna give me for it? Yeah, I'll take it. Look what Diddy did with it. So you can't wait for him to blow it up. Then you be like, that man owe me money. He jerked me. He did this. He did that. So
it's that cash in hand vibe. You know what I mean? Like people start thinking, and they're like, the way the business is, they've had so many different things. They're like, well, I know if I could get X amount of money right now, I'll be, you know, I can get that right now. I don't know how this is going to work out. And it's a bad thinking, but I'm just saying that's how people look at it. You know, like I only used to do that.
Right now, Reck, and you said, yo, I'll give you $5,000 for that. And I'm just like, all right, fuck it.
That's
later I hear you put it out, you did 10 million. What am I gonna say?
Yeah, no.
Damn, I ain't getting no royalties on that. Reck jerked me, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know what they say? You don't get what you're worth. You get what you negotiate.
Yeah,
that's true.
Oh, true.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you want some, just give me 5,000 and you can have it beat, that's you. Then that's what you negotiated.
Well, that's what basically be happening.
Yeah.
And Puff usually get the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good business in his eyes.
So, Shok, I want to ask you this, though. What is your relationship with Swizz Beatz? Or is there a relationship?
Nah, there's no relationship. There will never be a relationship with Swizz.
Oh, wow.
Because, because he, you know what? Like, like me and him are cool, and he's through the roof right now. And I'm not jealous at all. But you know, he knows like what's going on, and he's even taken some of my like Spit These Bars, for example. He even took that beat and he redid it.
Word?
And didn't even he redid it on, it's called Street Knock in like 2008 or something. It's with God, I think ASAP is on there with him, I think. So he redid that, and it was like when he was doing that Monday Monster thing or whatever. And he redid it, and he didn't even like, you know, clear it, nothing. And then I called him out on it, and he felt like it was like his right, like, you know, it was like a nod to me, and like I should be grateful.
Wow.
Like, it's like there's an attitude, in my opinion, when people get so high up there, where like it's like they feel like they need to be worshipped, and you know, they're so used to everybody yesing them, and like I'll work a regular job, you know what I'm saying? Like to me there's more that's something like more respectable, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll work a regular job, I'll fight my case, I'll do what I got to do, but like biting is biting, man. Like I'm from the old school where like you don't bite, man. Like and if you bite, like that's what I was raised in. Like I told you, they were like, my brother was breaking, like biting was like that's not cool. And if you bite from someone who's supposed to be a colleague, or, you know, I'm not even gonna say, like, I felt like we were friends, you know, but I don't even want to say that, just a colleague. If you bite like that, and then you don't even own up to it and be like, damn, maybe we should, and then reach out to the person and be like, yo, let's work this out. And plus, he knows what's going on with the R. Like, that's his uncles. And you know, it's like, I can't really, like, why would I want to be friends with somebody like that? Like, if you see what's going on, and you're the nephew, and you're like super powerful, and you don't even care, it's like, why would I mean, what kind of a friend is that? Like, I don't want no friends like that. And just because you're powerful, like I said, I'll do what I got to do. I work. I make my music. I mess with people who want to mess with me. I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not trying to be, you know, big, flashy, or I got a humble life, and I'm okay with that. Like, I never really wanted to, like, you know, do whatever, because like we went back and forth, like, on an Instagram post.
Oh, word?
Yeah, and he was like, you know, saying, you know, like I took my foot off the gas and all this stuff. Like, he was trying to compare himself to me and like put me down, but I don't even know why you would want to do that, because you're like high on top of the mountain. Like, yeah, you've surpassed me in everything in the world. Like, why would you even feel like your ego is fragile to that point that you have to like try and say something to me like that? You know what I mean? Like, you're like a hip hop icon, like, literally. Like, why are you even trying to do that? You know, you should just settle it and just be like, yo, you know, it's not no beef. I'm not a thug or nothing like that. Like, I'm just being honest. Like,
you're just speaking your truth.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. Like, it's not like I have beef, or I don't think it's right that you bite and you don't give credit, and then when you called out on it, you try to make it sound like I'm supposed to bow down to you because you're some type of king. Nah, I work hard. I did what I did, and I should get credit on that. You know, I didn't do a lawsuit on that because I'm already deep into the other one. It wasn't really worth it. You know, like, you know, as far as what it took to like deal with that and what the song made, it's not even really worth it.
I hear that.
So
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing the air on that. So
Yeah.
one more thing to piggyback off that, how do you feel about Swizz producer skills, or like, how would you weigh that up?
I think he's a dope producer. I mean, one thing I'll tell you, he's like very good at putting songs together. He's very good at like creating an energy. Like, even a beat can be not so great. Like, and everyone knows it's not that great, but then he starts to kind of like get people into it. Then they start spitting on it, and then you're like, yeah, okay, this could work. And then he comes in with,
you know how to create that vibe.
Yeah, he's great at it. Like he's great at it. Like he's and in some senses that can be more powerful than creating like great music, music by itself, like it can be more powerful because music really is emotion, energy.
Yeah.
So I think he's a phenomenal producer. I got as a producer, I got mad respect for him. Utmost, you know what I'm saying? And I would never I don't have animosity towards him. When I speak the way I speak, like I can't really have like a relationship. Is because unless that was straightened out, if he called right now and he was like, "Yo, Shok, I didn't know that you going through that with my for your money, and I maybe I should have gave you the credit on that since I did bite you, that whole beat and not give you credit." It's fine, but and the thing that threw me off was like I posted it, and instead of just being like, "Yo," like you are like. He's in the stratosphere. You know what I mean? Like he's in the stratosphere. It's like I'm not gonna do nothing in any way, shape, or form to like compete with you. Like this isn't even that. It's like it was just weird to me. To like still want to step on me after you. It's kind of weird. It's like what's that like? It's like adding insult to injury. Mm-hmm. Because it's like you already bit, you didn't give me no credit, and now you want to like throw me under the bus again. It's like, I mean, really? It's like, come on.
Well, Shok, let me say this. Was it a time that you stepped away from the music?
Yeah, definitely. There was a time I was so like tired of everything. And I actually, this is a long story. I'm actually trying to work on a book about everything, and it includes. There was some time that I was in a cult, and when I was in the cult, I wasn't doing music really. I did do some like gospel music, but then after a while, I just completely stopped doing music, and it was like a mixture of a lot of reasons. But one of the main reasons was just I was like disillusioned with the business, and it was like, and I was so tired. Like when you do these big runs, and you're hustling and trying to make music for as long as I was. Remember, since I was just a little kid, I was throwing parties, renting out halls. Then I was DJing in clubs, like nonstop. And then you finally make it, and then like you don't get paid what you're supposed to. And then you have this bad view of everything. It kind of just beat me up, and it just left me in a bad place. And then on top of that, I'm in a cult, which is a bad place to be on top of that. And then, but little by little, I got out of that cult. I started to rebuild myself up again. And when I started to rebuild myself up again, I started to like fall back in love with music. And that was like around, I don't know, I would say like 2010-ish. And I started to like fall back in love with music, and and I've been steady, no big records or anything like that. But as far as me working and doing music and staying like active and like music being a part of me again, that's been since that time. But I did step away for sure. I think I had to, it was like I had to like step out of. You know what? Another thing too is like when you do music and you're so focused on being successful, I think that you neglect a lot of your life, like of who you are. Like
that's a fact.
As a person. And
that's a mega bombshell you just dropped.
Yeah.
That's the thing with music that people have to understand. Like people that's passionate about the craft, they neglect everything about life, health included. Because you're so passionate trying to get on or trying to make it, trying to be heard. That's the only thing you care about. And it's unhealthy.
Yep. And it messes up everything. It messes up you also like forget how to be like content, happy, just to enjoy little things.
Facts.
Because it's so hard to get in and so hard to stay on that you have to. The only people who can do it have this tunnel vision. So
Yes, sir.
To have that tunnel vision, which means that you don't care what happens today or who happens, you're gonna get done what you got to get done.
Yeah.
And that affects you and people around you, like your real people. I mean, like your real people that are like, you know, your close people, your spouse or your girl or your whatever, your partner, your sisters, brothers, whatever is your environment, or your friends, if you all, you know, live together. Those close people, they all suffer, and you suffer too, because you as humans, we actually need that.
Right.
So I had to get in touch with that.
That's the story of my life. But they would never understand how much dedication it takes to get in a certain position and stay there. And it's the consistency that keeps you there.
Yeah,
it is. Mm-hmm. It is.
I like to say, man, for all of y'all who played a part of bringing my man to the world, no matter what happened, you know, you, PK, Grease, Swizz. Because if you remember at one time, Swizz only had one record on the first album. I believe he had one record. So I understand what he meant by keep your foot on the gas. And I think if he sees this interview, because he recently shouted me out, man, and I didn't think he would because of the universe and what's going on and whatever. So I think he's in a different space right now. I think that eventually, if he sees this and knows how you really, really feel, and I'm gonna point it out to him, make sure I point it out to him when I talk to him. Me and him gonna have that conversation. But I'm telling you, I appreciate everything you did, man. I didn't know that you was going through all of this, and I was there, but you know, I was in and out, because I was doing my own thing. But if I known you was going through all of that, you know, we would have gathered around you, and because that's what it is sometimes, Reck and Mo. Sometimes when they see a person by themselves, and they think they by themselves, they got nobody. Sometimes that's when these things happen. So I think if we was around you, me, Bling, you know, all of us, Clark, whoever.
Yeah,
it might have been more strong.
Bro, you do not know. Like, I used to beg Blend to sign because I didn't want to be alone.
Yeah,
he would not sign. I used to beg him so I could have a brother there, like a real person that is in my corner no matter what.
He wasn't going to do it because he felt I was his brother, man. You know I was his brother. So he felt Soup did all of this. And they ain't do whatever for him. So what the hell I look like going over there? That's what Blend was thinking.
Yeah. No, and you know what it is? Like, one of the things, and this goes back to like Reck, like what we were talking about, the tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. I had that, and that's why I signed, because see, like Blend was looking at it like on a human level. And I was looking at it like, this thing is going. I don't care what happens to me or this or that. I'm trying for this because this is just, I just was excited. And so that's why even, I spoke at, I went to Blend's funeral, and that's why I said what I said there, because there was something about Blend where he looked beyond just success. Like, he made decisions like what Superior just explained. And like, that's why, he was always like, he's a special person. Like, and that's why people have like a lot of love and good memories of him, because he was always like that. Like, he was always like that. And that was like, he wouldn't do things outside of that core, but it does take, that's the flip side of it. It does take this like tunnel vision. So there is an amount of empathy, for that, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what's Superior speaking to, that there's like this amount of empathy you do have to have for these people who did drive this success, did have this tunnel vision, maybe got a little greedy, maybe made some mistakes, and it's true. Like, I am, the truth of the matter is, I am, grateful like for the opportunity, what I experienced, everything. Like it's not even it's weird because like I'm not even mad at nobody. I'm really not. Like I'm not mad at all. Like I'm not angry. I don't want any type of nothing to happen to nobody.
Yeah, but we get this from talking to you. We understand, like Rex said, you're speaking your truth. We know what
like,
it is.
But
you just want to just do. That's all.
Yeah, just want
this platform is for that. That's what this platform is for. So we not worrying about none of that. You ain't even got to say none of that. We know.
Fact.
We know.
Yeah,
I can tell you in a minute. We don't care about it.
Listen, I don't care. You know, like in terms of when the truth got to get spoken, it will get spoken here. Because ain't nobody put me on. I put myself on. But I always dealt with the industry from the outside, from the exterior. But they felt my presence on the inside all the time. You understand what I'm saying? My impact was powerful because, like I said, I always dealt with the streets. And the streets dictate everything at all times in the game, from the beginning up until now. So, you know, and I never signed none of their contracts. You know, I done had mad deals thrown at me. You know what I'm saying? Label deals, single deals, album deals, you know. But I felt like those deals was, you know, not in my favor. So I never signed none of those.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is. You know, I love the game.
Yeah.
I not even the game. I love the music. You know, the industry to me messes up the music. The business of the industry messes up the music aspect of it.
Word up.
But I love this shit regardless. You know what I mean? I love this.
And you see me, I still rep it because I'm a part of it. I help build it. But you know, it is what it is. People just everybody just trying to learn and do what we got to do, man. So at least you're here to speak on yours. We give you a crown, and we want everybody to know what you did. I learned a lot today.
Thank you.
Because there's some things that you did that I didn't even know you did. You know?
Yeah, man.
I said he left. I didn't even want to bring up the cult. I knew about that when it said, yo, he joined the cult. And then, you know, stories went all around like, yo, he joined the cult, but nobody could touch him, and he's in there. But I never heard it from you. So
it's true story. It's true story.
Yeah, they were saying this, Mo. I couldn't find Shok. They was like, he's in the cult, man.
Yeah.
And remember, Craig Mack did that. Remember Craig Mack went into the cult?
Yeah.
So when they
it's
said
crazy
Shok went in the cult, I was like, damn.
Yeah. When I saw the videos, like after Craig passed, I was like, damn. Like I don't even know if he knew what he was in, but I related to it.
I was looking for you. I said, maybe I need to go in there.
Yeah, man. Word. I wouldn't have listened to you though. That's the funny part. When you're stuck in there, you would have been talking. I would have been trying to make you join.
Man,
I
asked X about you one time. We was talking about that coach shit. I think he knew about it because I ain't saying he made a joke about it. But we was talking about something, and he said he did that shit that he did in that belly shit. That Nas shit when Nas was like, he said, you scared? You want me to bring you home? Like it's one of those joints. So we was talking about something. He said, you scared? You want to join the cult with Shok? I was like,
yeah, man. No, it's real, man.
So Shok, real quick, man. You joining the cult. What is that about? Like
real. It's hard to real quick that one, but I'll. It's basically like look at it like this, man. I'm gonna go as fast as possible and short because it's a long story. But just look at it like it's like a religious, basically, or organization or a little small group where it has a leader, and basically the leader ends up knowing basically everything about God, and everybody else is wrong, and then they try to control different parts of your life that they shouldn't be involved in, like, and it gets like very personal where like, you know, you shouldn't do, you can't do this, God said you can't do this or this and that, and what ends up happening is, see what happen, how you get into a cult briefly is that I got to a point where I was disillusioned with the whole world. Like I was like, everything's messed up, everything's corrupt, nothing is good. I made success, it didn't really do it for me. Money don't do it, nothing does it. You know, like everything was just bottomed out. And those are the people who show up in those places. And because you're so bottomed out, they have an opportunity, because it's like now that person who thinks everything is wrong with the world and there's nothing that makes sense. Now I got the answers, and I'm gonna tell this guy right here, oh, that's because X, Y, and Z, and you need to do this because that's what God wants. And I'm like,
that's how they get you.
And at that point, I did everything the world told me. They said, go work hard, do this, you get some money, you'll be happy. And I really wasn't. So it opens you up to like that type of situation. And then, you know, the first year and something like that is not that heavy. But then as you're there a little longer, they want you to be a little more committed. And then things start to get weird. You know, you could be in a place like that for like a year without really getting to the weird stuff. And then you know, after a while they're like, oh, okay, you want to be more committed, then you got to do this. And then they start to, you know, kind of like get into that side where it's wrong, you know.
Thanks for explaining that, man. You know,
no problem, man.
So when you decide to leave a cult, what is the process?
I mean, it's hard because what ends up happening is, like, for me, first you gotta like realize it's BS.
Damn.
So the way I realized it was BS was they basically were teaching stuff from the Bible. So what I ended up doing is I've really studied the Bible like hard, like stupidly. And then I started to be like, well, that's not even the context of this. That's not what this meant in the first century, blah, blah. You know, like I started to know everything. I was reading books and books. And then I was like, man, this is completely just, this guy's just like trying to manipulate people, taking this text, trying to scare people. And that's not what even it was about. So then I really understood it. And once I really understood it, then I felt like, okay, this is just bad. It's a bad place. But then I dragged my wife into that place. Like, so then she's kind of believing the hype. So I'm not believing the hype. So it took me a while to like open her eyes to like the hype. And then, you know, cause I wasn't going to leave my family in there. Cause then I'm worried like my kids are going to be raised like that, which is basically, you can't do nothing. You're basically stuck in that place. They don't let you do anything. So
I'm laughing, but this is a serious matter.
Yeah. No, it was crazy.
People don't know, man, that they feed on people like that that's going through something.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
the thing.
Somebody came to me once with that, not joking, whatever. They didn't say a cult, but they try to come at me like religion-wise and saying what I'm going through is because of this and this. You got to be pure or whatever. I celebrate the Lord my own way. I know there's a creator and all of that, but I don't have to give
That's the most healthy way.
Yeah, I don't got to give you $1,000 for you to tell me that, though. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's they pray. It's sad because really what it is they take the most. It's like vulnerable and like people that are in a place that could like actually, they're in a place where if done properly, their life could get 100% better, because now they could really like put their values the right way, build up in a better way, not focusing just on material. And instead they just kind of like use you as like an asset, you know, and like mine you like oil, you know what I mean? They just try to get you in a position to like just give them and give your time and your money and your resources and, you know, whatever you can contribute. You know, they don't look at people as like humans, you know, like they look at people as like resources.
Right.
You know, which is weird because it's like this part of the book I'm working on is that I'm connecting dots to even like the music business, the capitalist system, and how we, you know, instead of like, you know, how we tend to like use people instead of things. You know what I mean? It's like how we do that, and it's something that we're taught within the system, you know, and it's like it's weird because it's the nightmare. Oh no, the gift wrapped up in a nightmare.
Woo!
Yeah, that's the name
deep.
of it.
That's crazy. That title was ill. Salute.
That's crazy.
Thank you. 'Cause the main theme of it is real short. The main theme of it is one of them is that I learned, because I had to do therapy and everything afterwards to like get back to Michael, like who I am, and because they deprogram you to reprogram you. Mm-hmm. So what I learned from that process was I could be programmed, because the person I became in there was not me. So I said, shoot, if this dude could program me, then why can't I program myself? And that was the process I did of rebuilding myself to be like, I can be or work from any place that I want, because I'm very, like, the mind is, you know, it's like, it's very pliable. Like you know, it's, you can like reconnect the neurons when you study the science behind it. Like you can really change so much by just repeating stuff and doing things over and over. So long story short, he taught me that I can basically do that for myself, and that's what I ended up doing through therapy, through everything. I built myself up again how I wanted to, not how someone wanted to do it for me, you know, which is, so we're programmable. That's the point I'm making, is we're programmable. Like whatever we want to think, how we want to be, our personality is locked in, but our perspective and everything, we can do that for ourselves. We don't need some guru. That's what
you all going through now, though, Shok. You know what I'm saying? Like when you watch TV or whatever the case may be, they say, this program such and such. They let you know beforehand, but we don't pay attention to what they say.
That's true. Movie, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Every commercial, whatever the case may be, is a programming. Like a phone, you downloaded a new download for whatever that is. So me personally, I don't watch no TV at all, really. You know what I'm saying? And then I realized, I don't do this no more while society is doing X, Y, and Z. I'm over here. Why am I thinking like this and they thinking like that?
Yes. So, and that's super important, because you're deciding what book to read, because you're reading that book or watching that show because you know that's what you want to do. Right. Instead of just taking it in and just letting them take you wherever they want. You're there and you're sort of in charge of your programming, which is super hard these days.
It is
super hard, but I give you a lot of credit for even doing that.
Yeah, the programming is thick with family structure. Like families go against you because, hey, you're not doing this no more. Why? What's wrong with you? Like you're the outcast now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Stay on your own path. If you happy, you at peace, man. Stay right there and keep rocking, bro.
Yes.
Let's leave the show on a high note. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I said, big shout out to everybody who's online. Butterfly, Blue Media.
I saw
Wendy.
Dutch on here too. What's up, Dutch?
Oh, Dutch is on here?
Yeah, I saw him on here before.
Salute Dutch. Dutch is another nice producer from Yonkers also.
Dutch is my brother, man.
Yeah,
mad love for Dutch.
Dutch did a couple of joints with the artists I had, Jinx, with Bloodline Records. So big shout out to Dutch.
Salute to SJ, the voice, holding down the moderator position.
Yeah, big shout out to SJ.
Holding us down. You know what I mean? Salute to everybody in the room. Butterfly, Blue Media, yes. She got some dope motion graphics and graphics in general. Fire.
Oh, snap. We got Stan the Man in here. It's got the government name in there, though.
Stan the Man.
What's up?
Good, Stan?
Fire.
Yeah,
Talk
my
about fire.
Wendy's in there from overseas. She handles stuff for Most Hated overseas, so
Yeah.
she's always on point, Wendy.
Word up. Hey, yo, big shout out to
We
Rowdy
are the
City, man.
Oh, Rowdy City. Oh, yeah. Big shout out to my brother. Damn, he had a baby today. A baby girl.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him. Ready
Word.
Rock D.
Salute.
You know what I'm saying? Salute to you, man.
Definitely.
And yo, Reck, the funny thing is when I'm talking to him about the baby, he's talking to me, but then he goes, "Yo, you on Rec tonight, right?" I'm sitting there talking to him about the baby. He like, "Nah, the baby's healthy, great." You know what I'm saying? He said, "You online tonight, right?" I'm looking at him like, "Man, fuck that, man. I'm talking about the baby right now." So he couldn't wait to see the show too.
That's what's up, man. So Shok, could you give us a drop? Moeskieno, lead them in. You know what I'm saying? Give them the name of the show. You know the whole name and.
Yeah, Shok is the Unsung Heroes, man. Y'all know what it is. Your boy DJ Moeskieno, aka the Sugar Cut King, live and direct with.
Oh shit. I messed that up. I didn't know I was supposed to come in right after you. I just messed that up. I'm thinking like I didn't know it was gonna be that easy. I was listening to you like, okay, I gotta repeat that.
No. You go ahead. You do it.
Nah, he wanted you to come after him.
No, that's I could do it again. I messed it up. But I'll do it, you know.
Go ahead,
Yo,
Mo,
what's up?
Do it again, Mo.
Do it again, man. I messed that up,
Hey,
man.
Listen, we having a great time right here, man. Y'all know what it is. Your boy DJ Moeskieno, aka the Sugar Cut King, live on Unsung Heroes with my main man,
DJ Shok.
DJ Superior, I'm in the building. All right, MHE, we in the building. MRecktv, this is how we do. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to radio, everybody out there, Shadyville DJs. This is how we do. MRecktv.
Yeah.
What's good, Rec?
Salute to the Rec Mob. You know what I mean? That's all the people that's tapped into the live, all the people that just tap in. You know, maybe this is their first time, so salute to them, all the new subscribers and just people who rock with the channel, man. And shouts to SJ holding down the moderator position.
Word.
So
and we here every Wednesday. We got a lot of more surprises coming up. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Always
baby.
leave comments. You can watch it, share it, put it up, let people know what's up. That's what we need. You know what I'm saying? We need the support. Big shout out to everybody out there. And we're gonna keep bringing the real to you. And like I said, we give Shok his crown. He's a king.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you,
Respect
fellas.
him
Appreciate
as a king.
it. Thank you.
From now on, when I hear y'all talking about Yonkers, I need y'all to say DMX, The Locks, Sporty Thieves, DJ Superior, and DJ Shok.
Shok.
All right?
Don't forget.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So on that note, double deuces and bubble goose.
Bubble gooses.
We gone. Yeah.
Word up.
Yeah.
So peace.
Peace.
Peace, fellas. Great show.
You hear something?
Have you guys heard of Stream Boss? It's a new IPTV provider that gives you over 5,000 channels for only $20 a month. $20 for live TV, local TV, movies, TV shows, pay-per-views, and so much more.
Huh? What?
If you have a Fire Stick, smart TV, or streaming device, then head on over to thestreamboss.com to begin your setup process.
Yo, we always gonna be best friends, man.
You're the plug and such. You a joke's bound to happen if you slipping or you lacking. I'm gripping on the matching, ready for the action. Shots will make you break dance and have you do a backspin. I got more kicks than karate flicks. My whole team pushing Maserati whips. You on IG liking thotty pics. Shorty pocket broke, but her body fixed. Peace, world. To promote your music or promote your business by placing an ad on MRecktv, contact MRecktv promo, MRecktv promo
@gmail.com. Peace. Oh yeah, subscribe to MRecktv, youtube.com/MRecktv. I'm gone.
MRecktv. It's got a music.